Yeah, go ahead. Ask me how I spent about 25 bucks on this thing when I'm only going to use it in the intro and the thumbnail. I start off by saying this review is gonna have I'm gonna go in depth with Thor just because I feel like going forward with these MCU reviews, just in order to convey how I truly feel about each movie, I need to go in depth with the movie. So this review is gonna have some spoilers in it, just saying. Thor is a movie about the Norse god Thor. It's the fourth installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and in Thor you have Thor, who's next in line to be king of Asgard. On his day of coronation, shit happens and he fights back, and his dad Odin, he's not cool with that, so he gets banished to Earth and he meets Natalie Portman, and it's basically a tale of redemption, and that's our movie. Starts off and it's already awesome. It starts off with a cool battle sequence, back in the day. It's 965 AD or something. The frost giants come to Norway, they start wrecking shop. Odin shows up and it's this cool cinematic fight. Odin's losing an eye, people are getting frozen. It's pretty much just the story behind the truce of Jotunheim and Asgard. So anyway, yeah, they fight Jotunheim, they kick a lot of ass, and then they get back to Asgard, which Asgard visually looks beautiful. The world is this combination of the sci-fi, fantasy, Game of Thrones, Star Wars planet, and it's just, it looks great. Now we fast forward a couple years later and finally meet Thor. He's coming into the main hall, yeah, I'm Thor, I'm awesome, I kick a lot of ass. And the frost giants, they try to get into the weapons vault to get the weird little winter box thing of ancient whispers or whatever the fuck it's called. And after that, Thor pretty much has this whole thing where it's just they came in here and they just kind of fucked with everything. They broke the truce, and Odin's just it was just a couple of dudes. It wasn't a big deal, man. Kind of going back to a thing that he said a couple of minutes ago where Odin was talking to Loki and Thor when they were younger, and he said a wise king doesn't seek out war, but he's always ready for it. He's not a wise king because he takes the Jotun attack on the vault, he seeks out war. So he's really not a king. And he even has a whole thing of as king of Asgard, and Odin's just you're not king yet. Apparently Thor thinks, yeah, we should just go to Frost Giant World, and we should actually just start wrecking shit. So anyway, they get to Jotunheim, they have a little back and forth with the king. The king says, yeah, House of Odin is full of traitors. I wonder who that's talking about. But anyway, everyone is on edge. Thor is the only one that actually wants to start throwing hands. He's telling everyone to square up. All right, square up, Laufey. What the fuck are you gonna do? What the fuck you gonna do, man? Everyone else is dude, leave it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. We can just leave and still be friends. So they're on the way out the door, and then one guy just opens his mouth. He's run home, little princess. And Loki's pretty much just fuck! And Thor takes the hammer and he starts swinging, and the fight ensues. Death and destruction. People are sword fighting. People are getting impaled. Apparently, if the frost giants touch you, you get frostburn. Not Loki. Loki somehow is not getting frostburn. What the fuck is wrong with Loki? So anyway, the fight keeps going, and then Odin shows up, and then Thor's just hey, you made it. We're gonna finish kicking ass together, right? And then Odin's just shut up. Let the adults are talking. King Frost Giant just starts saying, it's your boy sought this out, and he's well, this is the actions of a boy. Just treat them like that. And then Laufey's just no, this isn't something we're just gonna sweep under the rug. That war that you thought was over 1,000 years ago, yeah, that's that shit's back on. So then Odin just opens up the Bifrost again. They get the fuck out of there. This scene always I choke up. Odin starts saying, you don't deserve this. You open the realms, not just Asgard and Jotunheim, all 9 realms are now just open to the possibility of war, and you did that. So he starts ripping all of the little badges off Thor. He takes his cape, he takes the hammer, and he just banishes him. And he lands on Earth, and then we kind of run out of things to talk about, because really on Earth not a lot happens. Which that's always a main complaint when people are trying to be overly critical of Thor. Really, those scenes never really bother me as much as they bother everyone else. I like the scenes on Earth just because it's Thor, he's at his lowest low. He doesn't have the power of Thor anymore. It's been stripped from him. Anyway, back on topic, he's on Earth. He's having to get used to the customs. He's drinking coffee, and he's not used to the fact that on Earth, normal people, when they want a refill of their drink, they don't shout, another! And then just smash the glass on the ground. Then we go back to Asgard. And Asgard really is where the meat of the movie is. This is where the most interesting stuff is happening. Loki goes back to the vault. He goes to the box of ancient winter whispers, and he picks it up. He asks Odin's like, what am I? Odin's like, you're my son. He's like, what more than that? And you see he's got a frost giant face that just turns back to his regular face, and you're like, and then the whole back and forth of like, I found a kid there, he was abandoned to die, I thought I was doing the right thing. It took you because one day if Laufey wanted to raise hell again, I could use you as like a bargaining chip. We could. And then this scene hits me too. You favored Thor over me because you didn't want a frost giant sitting on the throne of Asgard, and then Odin falls into the Odin sleep, which is pretty much just Anthony Hopkins going, I'm just an old man with my fava beans and nice candy. And we're back on Earth, and Thor finds out his hammer is in a crater that's been overrun by S.H.I.E.L.D. He raids the compound, which that's like the one action sequence in this movie that I'm not really a fan of. It's cool that we got Coulson, and it's cool that we get like our first glimpse of Hawkeye, which is pretty much just Coulson radioing, hey Barton, we need eyes up top. And then the guy's just like, gun, bow and arrow. What I never liked about this sequence is just the fact that there's a lot of slow-mo, for starters. Like, every punch is pretty much just like, I'm gonna punch you now! Yeah! You're gonna be sore in the morning when this makes contact, motherfucker. So you got a lot of that, and it feels like a lot like a video game. You have like all the tiny little G-men guys that Thor is fighting, and then suddenly this one guy just like clotheslines him, and he's the size of a building. And it's just like, all right, cool, big boss fight now. And then all Thor's warrior friends go down to Earth, and then Loki sends the Destroyer after them. The Destroyer starts wrecking shop. Thor tells all his friends, like, just get out of here, I'll deal with this. And he starts walking to the Destroyer. He knows that Loki's in control, so Loki's gonna hear whatever Thor is saying to the Destroyer. He just says, whatever your problem is with me, it's with me. You need to let these people go. These people are innocent. Taking their lives won't mean anything. Just take my life. Just end it. And Loki's on his throne just kind of like, alright. And the Destroyer's just kind of like, alright, peace. Never mind. Fucking slaps Thor through the air. Thor dies, and then him, like, just sacrificing himself proves that he's worthy. So the hammer just flies out of the ground, catches it. He gets the lightning. Thor's suit starts coming back on. He just starts spinning around. He creates a tornado, and then just fucking smashes the Destroyer in the teeth. So he goes back to Asgard, and then Loki's just like, yeah, about that. I'm gonna go destroy Jotunheim now. Jotunheim is just starting to crumble to pieces. Thor pretty much shows up and is just like, you can't kill an entire race. And Loki's just like, what do you mean? You wanted to kill him with your bare hands. Thor realizes the only way I'm gonna stop him is to just destroy the Bifrost. So he takes the hammer and he starts fucking smashing it to pieces. Loki is at the end of the bridge. He's falling. Odin catches both him and Thor, and Loki's just like, I was gonna do it. I was gonna do it for you, father. Odin's just like, no, Loki. And then Loki's just like, he just lets go of the spear. He falls into a wormhole, and which I thought he was dead at first. Like, when I first saw this movie, I thought for sure Loki was dead. Like, I knew there was Avengers movie coming out. I didn't know Loki was like the big bad of the Avengers movie. I just thought he was the main guy in Thor, and now he was dead. So anyway, the Bifrost is destroyed, and Thor has the kind of back and forth with his dad, and he's just like I'm not gonna be a better king than you. I only hope that I can make you proud. And he's like, you do make me proud. And then we have our post-credit scene, and Sam Jackson's there. He's in a bunker, and he meets Stellan Skarsgård, and he shows him the Tesseract. And then you see, like, the reflection of Loki. You don't see Loki, just the reflection of Loki, and Loki just shows up, and he's just in Stellan Skarsgård's ear, and he's like, well, I guess that's worth a look. And then Stellan Skarsgård just looks to Fury, and he's like, I guess that's what's look. Which I've always been confused about that now, because that holds like no relevance in the Avengers whatsoever, which is even more weird because Joss Whedon directed the post-credit scene, so he knew what he was doing in the Avengers by the time he got to filming this scene. So why did he just allude to something that wasn't even going to happen in his own movie? That's fucking weird. Yeah, Thor, I like it. Kenneth Branagh is like always like the Shakespearean kind of director, but that totally works because like there's so much Shakespearean kind of family drama in Thor, like brother versus brother, the father drama, being banished, having to redeem yourself, having to become like a higher power. That I really like the first Thor movie, like more than most people do. It has problems for sure. Some action sequences don't work. There are a couple of visual effects that definitely don't work. That end scene when he's talking with Odin, the green screen in there is so noticeable. You can see the green halo Thor's hair. Why are Chris Hemsworth's eyebrows bleached? Apparently Kevin Feige doesn't even know, because around the time Infinity War was coming out, someone asked him, it's like, what's your biggest regret with the MCU? He said, dyeing Chris Hemsworth's eyebrows for the first Thor movie. He looked ridiculous. I felt so bad for him. I really like the first Thor, and I'm gonna say something very controversial right now. I like Thor 1 more than I like Thor Ragnarok. Oh, hey, calm down. Put the gun down. Put the gun. We can be civilized here. I like Thor Ragnarok, but I like Thor 1 even more. And I will say that Thor, buy it on Blu-ray. So yeah, guys, that's my review of Thor. Stay tuned, because next week I'll have my review of Captain America, the First Avenger. So anyway, Thor 1. I know I'm in the minority when I say it's my favorite Thor movie, but so I guess, so if you want to scream at me about that, sound off in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.